Okay, so blockchain, Web3. So we all start investing in the industry through this cryptocurrency, but there's a lot behind. And it seems long time back, no? When Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin. That was back in 2008. A lot of things had happened since then. And what we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years is how we are applying this technology into real use cases, the generation of value, not only for people, for us, but also huge business models are already based on blockchain technology.
And the first initial coin offering, right? Initial coin offering, it allows you to be an investor, like an angel investor, in any kind of a project you like or you're interested in, to put the $10, and for that $10 you get a coin, and that coin will be yours. You own an equity in that kind of a project, right? And then once the project launches, you help them launch that project similar to a game, and then you will get the returns of it after. You can use that token in the project, or you can sell it. You can get your return of investment later on. That's an initial coin offering. That's the term that we use. Okay.
And do you understand what's the use case of those tokens, coins within these networks?
Yeah. So let's take it as a next step, like to the blockchain first, like what do we mean? And then from there we can explain it.
Okay, so just a very basic explanation of blockchain, okay? And I go a little bit backwards. We have the internet, okay? And that's some sort of architecture where you can build stuff, okay? So for example, Facebook is an application built on top of the internet, okay? Well, a blockchain is something built on top of the internet, okay? And it's also an architecture. And the best well-known project worldwide, blockchains, probably Bitcoin, okay? So Bitcoin is 3 things at the same time. It has the same name. It's an architecture, okay, where you can build stuff, where you have an application called Bitcoin that runs with a coin called Bitcoin, okay? And many of these architectures work because they are rewarding architectures. So why would you be participating in a network if you're not getting anything out of it, okay? And that's where the Bitcoin miners come, okay? They get a reward based on the maintenance of the network. We have Ethereum also, which is the next evolution because it's an architecture where you can build decentralized applications, okay? And you can build your own tokens. And in the end, owning those tokens is like owning the protocol, the network. So it's like some sort of new concept of equity, as we were talking before, okay?
And think about it, guys, as it's, as we said, it's the internet. When they've launched the protocol of the internet, we were using only for like surfing the web, checking content, right? That was our main, www.com, and then we go and read. Now you can talk over the internet, right? That's the use case of the internet by talking over the internet, right? It's similar to the blockchain. That's Luis mentioned. Bitcoin is one use case of a blockchain technology. Ethereum is another one. Polygon is another one, right? Matic is another one. So these are technologies of blockchain that you can build your application on top of it. And then once you build an application, you come up with a coin. That coin will be for that specific project that you have that sits on that blockchain. And the beauty of it is if you want to use that protocol, you have to own that token that you bought, and then you pay whoever is gonna go and solve that code, which we call them miners, or we call them verifiers, right? So you pay these verifiers or miners with that currency of that blockchain, of that protocol, of that internet, right? Internet Web3, for them to be incentivized to always open the laptop, eat on their laptop, right? Like they always work on the laptop, for them to be able to solve that code, to allow that transaction to move from one block to another, to another, to another, until you receive your transfer, you receive your data, you receive whatever you're trying to transmit on that blockchain. So that's why we call it a protocol. That's what is a Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a protocol. Yeah. It's a technology.
Yeah. That's not pure innovation. So for example, when you want to send money using your bank account, you have to pay a fee, no? The same thing. You want to send Bitcoin across the Bitcoin network, you need to pay with Bitcoin as a fee, okay?
So when we're talking about Web3, right? So the evolution of Web 1, 2, and 3. With the Web 1, the information economy, it's an application similar to, let's say, Google, the Internet Explorer, MSN. We all passed through that one, right? For the chatting, for checking the internet, reading content, as I mentioned. And so that was like a sharing of content, and we are consumers there. right?
It's a one direction.
It's a one-way direction, exactly. That's how we can position it. A one-way direction of receiving information or sharing information. When we moved to Web 2, we had the application that they are similar to the Facebook, Instagram, Uber, YouTube, which we were able to share our content there within that ecosystem, right? So we can share and receive information at the same time.
Two directions.
Yeah. Web 3, how do you call it? 4-dimensional? So the Web 3, the ownership of economy, we, as I mentioned when we started, we're going to be the center of it. You will be the one to decide on every single thing you want to do over that kind of a protocol. No one can block you. And that's what Luis mentioned is about the banking system, right? Today, if you want to send money to someone in US and then the bank come back saying, you know what, this guy is a bit fishy. I don't want to transfer the money. Your money is blocked. We send it back. What happened with the economical systems in Lebanon, in Venezuela, all over the world, banks said, you know what, the depreciation of the currency, money is lost in the bank. You don't have anything with me anymore. So they control this. Web 3, this will never happen. It's decentralized. There is no ownership of any application except yourself. If you have your money in the blockchain, no one can take it from you. It's a decentralized system. That's where you have the ownership of everything you put on that chain. No one controls it for you.
It's like inspiring, but some people don't like it. So some people want to have someone looking after their things, like banks. Okay. In blockchain, you are the only one accessing your assets. You are responsible for them. If you lose them, nobody's going to come back to help you to get them back. You lost them, okay? So it's about having more freeness.
Yeah.
But some people like to be protected with centralized, organizations. This is completely different. So it's a complete shift in mindset in the end.
100%.
Okay, so these are like the three main drivers of Web3. Ihab was already talking about some of them, transparency. And what do we mean with transparency? If I get to know your wallet address, I'll be able to check every single transaction you made since the creation of the wallet. It's absolutely open. I might not know that it's yours because it's anonymized, but I know everything you did with it. So every single transaction in the Bitcoin network, in the Ethereum network, in the Polygon network, it's open and accessible for everyone, okay? And that's a complete shift in how we do things nowadays.
And even if you think about it, I don't want to, X person know how much money I have on my wallet, right? Because today, if you go to Ethereum and you go to, let's say, OpenSea, you click on one of these NFTs, and then you go to that address, you check on the address, you go to the ledger on the Ethereum address, you'll be able to tell how much Ethereum coins you have, that person. And you can check how much money do they have, right? So that's really not in a privacy way, but if you go and look into it in a different way, a different use case for the open ledger, right? For the media, for example, we were talking in the morning about, I can check how many times did you see my ad on different channels. So that's really perfect for me because I don't have a spillover on my media spends, right? Or if you think about insurances, how many times you had problems with insurance companies? For example, I put my insurance in terms of like flying tomorrow, and then I miss my flight. I have to send a trazillion email to these guys to respond to me, and then for them to transfer my money, it takes them like 10 working days. I look about the hassle and the time wasted putting emails and the stress on it to bring your money back. If you go to this kind of a smart contract, which is something that is built on the blockchain, it's super easy. That's transparency. What happens that smart contract goes on the system. It tells the system that, hey, Ihab paid $200, and he will get the service of, if he misses his flight, he will get a return of 50%, and that should be done. So what happens if I go to the airport, I miss my flight, there is the kind of an IoT, Internet of Things. It will communicate with the smart contract immediately telling him that this person was not on the flight. On the spot, the contract will execute, and then it will send me my 50%. That's the transparency as a unique thing that we didn't have before that will automatically trigger an action on the smart contract on the blockchain to give me my right back, because there is no one can bluff anything related to the right thing that happened for you to get your money back. So that's kind of transparency as a use case of daily stuff that we can implement in companies.
The law of code.
What?
The law of code.
Yeah, the law of code, 100%.
Yeah, that's it. Decentralization of power, and we were talking about this before. So, who has the power now to control your assets? There's no one there's no middleman. There's no one helping you, but there's no one controlling you, no? And there's a whole bunch of new kind of organizations being built which are completely decentralized. There's no equity, and it's the guys owning the tokens, the ones that can decide over the future of those organizations. Ownership control, so all of your coins, tokens, for whatever reason you're holding them in your wallet, they are yours. No one can access them. You lose your private key, then you can lose them. But you're done. Yeah. Yeah, but the cool thing is that, so you actually think that the money in the bank, as Ihab was saying, is like yours. Well, it's yours, but just like the minute they want, they can close your account and then you lose your money, you know? And finally, the digital asset standardization. So there's a whole bunch of new sort of assets being created every day, and it's being standardized. And within these protocols, you can build similar assets in a very fast, efficient, and secure way. And those assets can become the representation of a lot of things, okay?
Today you can tokenize an apartment. You know this, right? What do we mean by tokenizing an apartment? It's like transferring that asset into a digital, let's say, I don't know, code or whatever, and then you can give a token for it. You can split it into 100 tokens, and we say it's worth $100, and then we split it into 10. It's like $1 or like $10, and then we can offer it to the market, and they can have a share, and it's for them. So a tokenization, it's transferring this bottle of water to an online asset and being able to sell it there, but you have the ownership of it. Not necessarily you will hold it in your house in New Zealand, and it's in Dubai, still in Dubai. So we were able to transfer assets today over the internet without physically moving them, but you own them. That's an NFT. And there's a lot of use cases for NFTs, for gamifications, for a lot of different things that you can think about. And that's why people now needs to be creative to be able to move this forward in different use cases. That's why we need people. When we're looking at metaverse today, yes, as you said, it's a virtual world. And you've heard about metaverse. Metaverse is not one, as I mentioned. There's a lot of virtual worlds around. Decentraland recently, JP Morgan, they bought a land in Decentraland for a virtual meeting, like events or whatever, right? So these are JP Morgan, correct? So it's about a virtual world, different worlds, and every single world of them, they will have their own identity. Yeah, so that's metaverse. Now, it's the use case of an experience. It's a use case of what you want to use the metaverse for. It's not about meeting your friend and saying hi in the metaverse and move around. No, it's not the same at all. So that's what we're going to talk about here.
So there's probably a huge opportunity for brands as a new channel to actually interact with us, the users, and it's also about the experience for people in the end. So, well, we were talking about this before.
As you mentioned.
Yeah.
Z.
Who is into the metaverse right now? But we don't know in the future. Right now, who are they?
Who has kids here are in the metaverse? He has his avatar, he's buying things, he's putting caps, all of this, right? He plays with his friends, right? Exactly. These are the new generation talking to their friends over the metaverse. They play together, they spend time together. This is the generation. If you go and tell your grandpa that, I have a cell phone now and I have WhatsApp and I'm typing and I'm texting, he will tell you, are you crazy? Right? Because before he was used to, what do you call this phone? I don't know, like, yeah, imagine. He doesn't know, right? You tell him, I'm putting a glass now and I can see, like, I don't know where, like, you crazy, right? So that's not for us. That's the thing we have to understand. Not everything that doesn't make sense for us, it doesn't make sense for the generation coming forward. You never know.
And then in the metaverse, you can live like a completely different life. You can be someone else. Yeah, that's also...
And there's a lot of use cases that we've been reading about in the MIT school or whatever, when they mentioned, like, someone disabled that he doesn't really know the feeling of running. And we've just figured out when we were in Madrid like 2 days ago, there's a company, they did the sensation of their hand and they can put it on your leg and they can give you the air, like it pumps air and then it starts doing this fiber or whatever thing to your leg and you will feel it. So imagine someone disabled, like you're allowing him to run in the metaverse and he can feel, a kind of like a touch on his foot and it's gonna be different for them. So the use case is the metaverse.
Nevertheless, we are not going crazy. We already have huge brands working in the metaverse. Web3 offers the opportunity to change the game completely. And it has to do a lot about your data, okay? And today we wanted to bring up 4 big problems in the industry. Or what we think they're 4 big problems, no? Do you understand them? Are you taking decisions based on your data in your companies? How are you making those decisions? It's just gut? You're guessing?
Sure, Abed.
Are you being right?
No answer. So like the use of data in like digital companies or like any kind of marketing in terms of a company, they have to get to rely on the data that they get from their business to be able to do a decision, right? So decision making based on data, right? That's how people will move forward in any business decision making or in life making as well. In terms of life making. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, we think that from now to the next 10 years, you won't be able to compete if you don't have a data-based orientated process of making decisions, okay? And within that model, we have this huge problem number 4, that we were left out of the equation at some point.
As people.
As
right?
people. We cannot decide how to use the value that we are generating daily, okay? And that's one of the big issues we're trying to solve, bringing blockchain technology and data together. And this is what my company is trying to do right now, you know? So help the world learn from its data while bringing more fairness into the industry and allowing us, offering tools, Web3 decentralized tools, so you can decide what to do with the value of your data. Well, we really think it allows, you know, the possibility of building complete new, you know, standards in the industry, in the data industry and the advertising industry. Odin is another project I'm working on. It allows to bring real-time data into the on-chain world. So from here into the next 10 years, a lot of stuff is going to be governed by smart contracts. Those smart contracts need real-time off-chain data. Odin is an Oracle protocol that connects that data into the on-chain world. And it allows to build that circular economy in which we all work together to bring data on chain and we get paid for it, okay? So changing the standard of the industry. And 1 hour, and that's it. So final quote. This is gonna happen. Okay, so start to download your wallets. We are gonna tokenize everything. Your houses, your cars, whatever. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.